Nordic Tales and American Trails is an outdoor and hunting podcast focusing on tales and trails from Northern Europe and the USA, hosted by Erik from Sweden and Adam Wu from Louisiana. The podcast covers all aspects of the outdoors, with a special emphasis of hunting with dogs. We will explore the unique tales and trails of our region, the various dog breeds used in hunting, and the differences in hunting practices between the USA and Northern Europe.
All right, Erik, what's up, brother?
Not much. Last preparations here before our season really kicks off. Just picked up some more higher energy food for the dogs. Got some protein powder and rehydration stuff for the dogs as well picked up. It's now 15th of August when we're recording this, and our brown bear season and moose training season starts here 21st of August. The temperature is finally dropping. We're like down to 50, 45, 50 at least. So it feels great.
Oh, that's in Fahrenheit?
Yep.
Yeah, gotta be. I mean, geez. Yeah, well, we dropped from like 95 to 94.
Yeah. I would not survive that.
Yeah, we have quite a while, man. So, as you know, our wild boar season is open all year round, but it's still way too hot to start hunting. I'm hoping mid-September it's cool enough to get the dogs back in the woods. But all the other games typically open October. It's when you get your deer hunting, squirrel hunting, stuff like that. You know, I like to dip my toes in everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, so like I actually learned here the other day, like the whole metric versus, I'm not sure what your system is actually called, but like Fahrenheit actually makes sense when it comes to weather, because if it's below 0, it's freezing, cold as F, and if it's above 100, it's very, very hot.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think Fahrenheit makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, but the metric system makes more sense than ours.
Yeah, I think so too. So it's right, 50 to 60 Fahrenheit now. So it's definitely feels great.
That's good, man. That's good. Well, look, you and your brother Oskar just recently made a fox hunt.
Oh yeah.
2 fox hunts.
And some other stuff as well. Like he reached out to me, wanted to come here for a weekend hunt. So we did a bit of red fox hunting, and we also prepped some stuff on one of my hunting properties before the season. So, and we also decided to sit down and talk a little bit with Oskar. Sadly, you were unaccounted for. Something came up for you, so we had to do it with just me and my brother.
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and go play that. But everybody, whoever's listening, please stay tuned, because afterwards, Erik and I are going to kind of recap what they talked about, and we'll continue on from there.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, hello. Welcome to Nordic Tales and American Trails. This is going to be a little bit of a special episode. So I'm currently sitting down with my little brother Oskar. So welcome.
Thank you. It's going to be fun to record this podcast with you, Erik.
Yeah, it's amazing. So our original plan was that Adam was gonna be with us, but he got something that came up, so we're gonna have to get me and Adam's view on this conversation a little bit afterwards. Yeah. But we hope that's gonna turn out good anyway.
We'll try our best, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. So let's jump straight into it. Tell me a little bit about your own hunting story, even though I'm no part of it.
No, definitely not. I was on my first hunt when I was around 10 years old. You took me. We had a wonderful hunt with 2 young moose shot, and I got hooked right away. Then I took the hunter exam when I was 15 years old. And I feel I can't hunt that much because of my floorball career. But every time I go out and hunt, I really enjoy it. And just to feel the forest and the sounds and see some animals. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique hobby, and connects you definitely to nature and what's around you in a unique way.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what did you feel about the hunting exam? Like the whole course and everything like that?
Yeah, so here in Sweden, you get baptized when you're little, and when you're 15, you confirm your religious belief. Often you have some activities connected to that. It could be sailing or hiking, or in my case, I took the hunting exam with the confirming of God. It was a real nice opportunity to learn both about the Christianity, so we understand those people and the hunting community. I took it was 1 year of tutoring. We both had presentations from a teacher and also had some practical hunts in the forest. And it was really mixed and fun to do it. We were 30 in our class, so we really got connected to each other too.
Yeah, and I also assume that people were from like different amount of hunting backgrounds. Someone maybe grew up with it, and like you had it around you with like from me basically, but none of your parents or our parents do actually hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was really different. Some were from the city and some had hunted their whole life. So it was a really mixed group of people.
Yeah, and I think that's the best kind of group of people. Whatever you're doing is when you get a mixed level of experience and mixed levels of backgrounds.
Yeah, because you learn of each other.
Yeah, definitely. That's the idea of this podcast as well.
Yeah.
So did you? I know because I did the same hunting exam with the baptism myself when I was 15 years old. So I know you were on probably some very fun hunts. You wanna share a story of one of those hunts that you did with the group?
Yeah. So we were roe deer hunting. We call it klappjakt here in Sweden. I don't know the English.
Well, I think we're gonna try to say like driven hunt, but
Yeah.
you walk with a line with as a human chain while you're clapping
Yeah,
your
exactly.
hands together.
And try to force the animal into some nice placed out shooters. Yeah, that hunt we didn't. We get one roe deer. I believe we were a big group because the Swedish hunting organization got some land near the city to have young hunters experience hunting together and learn. So we got the one roe there and we're like 40 shooters, but I didn't see any animal that hunt. But we were two at the shooting station, and we had nice conversation. And even and when you go driven, it's like really fun. You can talk and scream, and it feels weird go out hunting and screaming in the forest.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a unique feeling when you're in the driven chain, or what the English term for it is. Like you're out hunting, but your whole goal is to make as much noise as you can and just keep track of who's next to you, so you stay in line, so you keep driving the game forward.
Yeah, yeah, that's really weird, but you get used to it
Oh yeah,
as the hunt goes on.
Yeah, you get used to it, and it's definitely fun. So we're actually sitting down here this weekend because you, from the first opening of our fox season here, which started 11 days ago, you were like, "Oh, Erik, we need to go out and hunting fox," and I was like, "Well, I don't really plan on hunting anything because I'm waiting for the dog season." But when you asked the second time, I was like, "Oh, come on, we need to really get this going." So we have had 2 nights of fox calling here, and I'm gonna let you tell that story a little bit.
Yeah, so I got here Friday, and we took a bite to eat, and then we sat down at a field. It was really windy, rainy, but we sat in a tower with the roof on it, so it was okay. and we started calling. Nothing really happened until a really small young fox came out 300 meters out on the field. Now it's gonna run towards us really fast, but it takes a route. It goes back into the forest and like goes a little bit toward us and follows a ditch.
A ditch.
Yeah. So it's like gone for at least 20 minutes, and then we see it again, and we could like see how it moves a little bit forward, stays still, listens, goes a little bit forward, still listens, and then when we got it in to 140 meters, we see it sits still. And it sits like that and stare at us for like 15 minutes. And I'm not really sharp shooter, so I'm like, okay, I want it to be a little bit closer before I take my shot. So the waiting there was extremely nervous. It was my first ever time hunting with a rifle too, so my whole body was shaking. It felt like shaking, at least. Then but finally it gets up, it walks towards us, and when we got it in at 110 meters, I feel like now it's the chance to shoot it. And I took a shot and I missed by 5 centimeters over it, unfortunately, but it was a really exciting experience.
Yeah, and whoever has hunted a lot, like you will have your misses, and I think you took that really well. Like a fox on that distance, it's a very very small target, and I made the same judgment as you did. Like that was our chance. Like I'm not sure if he spotted us moving but something spooked him enough to like. It felt like he committed to walk away again. But yeah, for me as well, that was a very excitement. Like it's actually the first time, or actually the first time for me at least, that we managed to call in a fox. Like I've tried it a little bit here and there, but I mainly focus on hunting with the dogs. So, but like yeah, that was definitely exciting. Then we watched some Olympic Games and all that, and went to sleep quite early after that. And then we woke up the following day, and we were going to fix some stands and meet up with my new hunting team here that I have. So I think it's not going to be the first time you were on one of those days, but like, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was really fun. Hunters are often nice too. You could always talk to a hunter and have a good time, I believe. So to be out in the forest and fix some stands with screws and logs, and yeah, it's a nice time.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice time, and I'm gonna commit this or spill the beans here. So I decided to let my 7-month-old West Siberian Leica Sarah off leash for the first time. Was expecting her to basically just stay around us, not to venture too far off into the distance, so to say, as most of my puppies have actually done that. Like they reached out maybe 100, 200 yards or something the first time, so you let them be in the forest. So, but yeah, Sarah stays around us for maybe 10 minutes, I think it was. Yeah, something like that. And then she just goes, like a swift, heavy wind comes up from below us, and she's gone. She starts working out in a really nice third pattern. Like she gets out to 600, 650 yards, crosses a gravel road, circles around there in a little bit in an area where we know there's a thicket. She makes a circle back, and yeah, like she was out searching for 35 minutes, covered almost 2 miles, so a bit over 3 kilometers. And I'm beyond excited, man, for that. Like that felt great. You get to see that glimpse of what can be when you let a young dog loose, and yeah, beyond excitement. And I think the whole hunting group that we were out fixing stands with was very excited as well. And I've also decided now to commit to. She's gonna have to have a dog or a protective vest on when I'm hunting with her. So my older dogs don't really like the protective vest, so I have a vest that's both for wild boar and wolf protection. But it's like a modular vest, so I can decide what to add on to the vest. But for this West Siberian, like, I've decided that she's gonna have to have the vest on at all times, because on paper, and especially after yesterday, I definitely feel that she will definitely range out farther than my other dogs. So then I feel the need of a protective vest, both for high visibility when it comes to roads and cars, but mainly wild boar and wolf is gonna definitely feel safe and needed on her.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't like she was a little bit bothered here in the living room, but then when we got out in the forest, she had no clue that the West was done.
Yeah, it was fun to see. Like, she got a little bit uneased with it to put it on, but once it was on and we let her go, like, there were no worries that she had a vest on, and that was fun to see.
Yeah.
So then we went back home, made some barbecue. We had some. I had prepared some moose meat that we put on the grill. We had some corn, and we had some grilled cheese. Or not grilled cheese, but cheese that we put on the barbecue. I'm not sure what the English term for it is, but
No. I have no idea either.
no. And we had some watermelons with feta cheese and basil.
Yeah.
That's one of our go-to barbecue salads that we use here in our home. So I think that's very nice. Have you had that before?
No, exactly that combination, but yeah, I had some watermelon salads and it's really nice. You feel
Yeah.
fresh after eating them.
Yeah, it's a bit of our way here in Sweden to deal with our heat, which is like 70 Fahrenheit. So compared to what you have in America, it's not that high, or south of Europe. But
Yeah, but we
we're-
die when it's that hot.
oh yeah, if we get up towards 100 Fahrenheit, I think none here would survive. Like, so that would be 38 Celsius, and that's like, no, thank you. When it goes above 30 Celsius, I'm calling it quits.
Yeah, then you gotta be in the lake all the time if you're gonna have a good life.
Yeah, if you have a chance to survive.
Yeah.
So after the barbecue, we decided to hit the stand again.
Yeah.
And I don't think our second hunt disappointed us either.
Not at all. This time we got still got the wind, but a beautiful sunset. And I believe it's like the best thing with hunting. Sitting on a bench with your brother in a sunset and like, this could happen, this could not happen. The excitement before the hunt it's half of the hunt for me. But yeah, it was not at all a disappointment. After the first call, a big fox comes out at the exact same place that we saw the fox we shot at first, at that 300 meters field, and it doesn't go, and then it disappears into the 40 again, but to the left this time. So we feel like, oh, it's gonna come eventually. But then we never saw it again, unfortunately. It would have been a really nice fox to have shot at. But the hunt goes on. We see a little birds, a roe there. Really feel the sounds of nature and see a little bit of the nature. And then from a crest, a hare comes up. And we're like, oh, beautiful hare. It jumps a little bit towards us. It doesn't look bothered at all. But then we see two tiny foxes come. It really looks like they're gonna chase the rabbit or the hare. And we're like, oh, if it comes towards us, it's gonna be wild. But then they hear our crying bird calls, so they shift their attentions from the hare to us for a little bit. They start to walk towards us, and they play with each other, and they see something in the ground that they chase, and they come closer and closer. And we got them at 110 meters. Then the calling, they didn't really respond to the calling, and I felt that's weird because it was so close, and I really want to have them a little bit closer to take a shot this time. And they go a little bit forwards and backwards, but eventually one of them sees a little mouse or something in the field, so they just ran off. Both of them took the sprint in the very wrong direction.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a nice encounter. Like, we first saw what we think, judging from trail cameras and whatnot, should be the female fox.
Yeah.
And now we've got them out from the same thicket area 2 times in a row. So most likely the den is somewhere in there. So we're gonna have to venture into the thickets here and see if we can find a den, and see if we can get some friends with some terriers to come here, and we can try to do some den hunting as well. Don't think you're gonna be able to join for that, sadly, but we're gonna have to see. But first order of business is to try to find a den. But yeah, there was definitely some excitement. Like, those 2 young foxes, like, they were very, very young and small. So like from this year's litter, so to say. And they were like responding very nice to our calls, like sprinting 20, 30 yards or like 40 meters towards us. And then they're like, oh, that's a butterfly, or
Yeah.
that's a beautiful flower, or oh, your tail, I want to bite that. And they were like tumbling around, fighting each other. And then we made a new call, and they were like, oh, we're supposed to be hunting. And then they ran towards us, and then they're like, ooh, that's a beautiful flower. So it was,
Yeah.
in a way, it was such a beautiful nature experience that I was like, I'm kind of not hoping they come too close, because I'm not actually sure I want to tell Oskar to shoot at this.
No,
Like-
they were really cute.
Yeah, they were definitely, like, the cute factor was definitely high. And it felt like, it was like watching 2 puppies play around in a field,
Yeah.
which is obviously very close to it. Like, they were tumbling around, they were biting each other, chasing each other's tails, and all that. So that tells you, like, it's not only about hunting and trying to kill. Like, I think both you and me, Oskar, we're as happy with that night, sitting in the sunset and watching that play out,
Yeah.
than that we would be if that first fox just beeline towards us and we would get a shot of. Like,
I mean, that would be exciting too, to have such a good call, but yeah, but it was really cool to see nature play out its course and see it respond. They never saw, so it was we really blended in. It was nice.
yeah, if that mice, we actually saw the mice run through the field a little bit. Like, if that didn't run the wrong way, I think they would have kept working towards us.
Yeah.
For sure. But it also got me thinking, like, I need to get a rifle with a bit more magnification on the scope. So currently I only have a 1:4 on my rifle, which Oskar then loaned from me. Because here in Sweden, like, if you're above age of 15, you don't have a gun license. I think we talked about this in the last episode, is that then you can sit next to a hunter and then you loan that guy's or girl's rifle. And then, like, the owner of the gun is actually legally obligated to, like, make sure that you take good shots. So, like, if Oskar would have made a mistake, then that mistake falls on my shoulders to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, is it when I have taken the hunter exam? Isn't it
Yeah.
like I just borrow your rifle, or are you still responsible?
I'm still responsible, because you need to have, once you actually have to apply and get a license for a high caliber rifle. then you
Oh,
can
okay.
loan rifles from me. But
Yeah.
until like the police has vetted you,
Yeah, okay.
then we're still like I'm not sure, like uppsiktsjakt in Swedish. So like
Yeah.
until you actually have gotten approval from the police, you still can't borrow a rifle, even though you have the hunting exams, which is
Okay.
needed to get the hunting or the gun license.
Yeah.
So like you need to go through the police judgment first as well.
Yeah, okay.
Which I like. We're not gonna get into the whole gun politics here, but like I think it's a good way that you try to get new hunters exposed to hunting.
Yeah.
And I definitely like the American way of like it benefits for you to take out children in most states, because the child or youth hunting tags might be cheaper, and they might even have a own youth season on some of the games in America. And I think that's a very beneficial and good way to get new hunters engaged with this hobby.
Yeah, and it's important to get new hunters engaged with a hobby, because if you don't have a community, who's gonna defend you actually killing animals? It's for the
Yeah,
unexperienced, it sounds terrible.
yeah, it's definitely a touchy subject, and it's especially these days where we need to band together as hunters. It doesn't matter if you like, even if you're not into trapping, you should, in my opinion, still support trapping. If you're not into bow hunting, I think you should still support bow hunting. If you're not into hunting with dogs, you should still support hunting with dogs.
Yeah.
If you only like to hunt with hounds, you should still support hunting with the Lycas or with the cur or feist. Like everyone needs to band together and unite. Like even if you don't agree with the way of hunting, like say that I don't agree with your way of doing this, but I respect it. I think that's a very important topic, and I think that we need to all to, especially these days, how the world is like. It's so easy to just be divided and sit on your side and not listening to each other.
All hunters should be on the hunter's side. It should never be hunters against each other, because then hunters look like animals too, and that's just stupid for the non-hunting community to see.
Yeah, and I think at times hunters are definitely our worst own enemies when it comes to what we decide to post on social media and how we act towards each other, both hunters and towards anti-hunters, if you wanna use that term. So yeah, I hope this episode turns out okay. Me and Adam are gonna add some commentary to this, so we also get the American point of view. Not that Adam represents the whole America, but so thank you, Oskar, for coming on to Nordic Tales and American Trails.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Let's have some breakfast, man. Okay, so that was me and my little brother sitting down and talking about our weekend. So, Adam, what did you think about our conversation? Anything that stood out for you?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it, especially listening to. I know it's not a first timer, but it brings me back to some of like my first hunts and everything, and those times are kind of the same feeling we're always constantly chasing, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, I think your brother did a real good job kind of explaining the emotions behind what he's doing, besides just what he's doing, you know? So I thought that was super exciting.
Oh yeah, I think it turned out definitely great. And that was actually his first time sitting with a rifle on an active hunt. So
before that, did he do like a lot of shooting, or just mainly like his test?
So he the course he went that we talked a little bit about was through the confirmations, which is, I think it's not everywhere in Sweden, but you can do it in some parts. So that would have been a few years ago. So what we basically did is we did go to the shooting range beforehand, and he just fired off a few bullets, make sure the rifle fitted him as well and all that. But he hasn't done a lot of shooting, and he has not actually shot at a live game before.
Oh, that's interesting. See, that was my next question. I was gonna ask if that was his first actual shot at a live target.
Yeah, it was. And like, I'm telling you, like, those red foxes, when they're this small, like the fox we tried to get at was like I'm not sure if the English term is puppy, but like
Yeah.
a fox born this winter. So they're like they're probably smaller than your red fox squirrels.
Yeah, and I mean, what was that final? The shot he took was like still over 100 meters away, right?
Oh yeah, it was like 110, 115 maybe.
Man,
but
that's still a good shot. Like that's a
like
tiny target at that distance.
Yeah, and with a gun, like my gun is set up for being a dog handler, right? I have a 1:4 scope, so you can only zoom in 2x4, which is on that distance, on that small of a target. Like, there's no way I would make that shot either. I think I did the same judgment as I think we talked about. The fox made us. Like, that fox was about to yeet out of there. I would have tried as well. So, and I think he took it really well. Like, obviously he questioned the shot, but like, I was looking through another scope, so we were 100% clear it was over the fox. The fox did not get injured in any sort of capacity. So like, we were sure we didn't wound an animal, so to say. Right. But like, he definitely partly regretted the shot, I think. But like, he also felt like he did what he could. I'm happy we decided to go out the following day as well, because like, you just need to get back out there. And I think for anyone that has hunted a lot, like, if you ever not missed a shot or you never wounded an animal, that's just, then you basically just haven't hunted enough, I think.
Oh, of course, man. You've either missed shots or you're a liar. That's pretty much what it is. Or like you said, you just don't hunt. I mean, It happens. And for you, how does it feel? I mean, I have a little brother as well. Some of my most exciting memories is taking him kill his first animals or harvest his first animals. So how does that feel for you? Like, are you? I almost get more excited to do that than actually harvest an animal myself. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, my little brother mocks me because I think a lot of us that has plenty of dogs to hunt with is like, sitting on a stand and being still for 2-3 hours is not really, at least not my cup of tea. So like, I think we were in the stand for 10 minutes and then we saw the first fox and I was like, okay, I can survive this a little bit. And then after an hour, it was like,
Right.
I kind of want to do something else, but like, I'm gonna sit here silently because I can see the smile on my little brother's face. Like, he's having a great time. He's enjoying it. But like, I would not have spent that amount of time that we did by myself. Like, I would have probably walked out there, made a few calls. If nothing showed up for the first 20 minutes, I would have called a day and went back home, I think.
I completely feel you on that. So is he gonna continue this pursuit? Is he gonna get dogs of his own, or what is his path with hunting? Is he just gonna hunt with you?
I think for now he's mainly gonna hunt with me. He's currently studying in school, so he also tries to, at least on a half to a very serious level, playing floorball, which is in America a very small sport, but here it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, what is that?
It's like ice hockey but no ice, and It's basically ice hockey, but
okay, I may have to look
on a
that
floor. Yeah.
Well, that's cool,
so his team actually got rank 6, I think, in Sweden, like junior team in the whole country on the playoffs. That was this season. So like, he's playing it basically every weekend. So, but basically I've told him, like, whenever he has a weekend when he's not busy, if he just message me, I'm gonna tell him where to drive his car and he can join me hunting.
Yeah. So he's yet to experience like a bait up animal?
No, yeah, or yeah, he has not experienced a bait up animal yet, and that's something
Okay.
I hope we can change this season.
Yeah, that's a big game changer there. I'd be curious to see if he would kind of change his mind on that and maybe want to get dogs, because that's what does it for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I think.
Not that everyone needs dogs to enjoy it, but
Oh no,
you know what I mean.
yeah, and I think like he also feels like now that dogs is not something he can have right now, and I think sadly a lot of people get dogs because they want it, but they haven't really thought the decision through, so to say.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I mean, look, I have a few buddies like that right now, and just by me saying that, they know who they are. Um, but sometimes sometimes it takes that lessons learned and all. It's a certain kind of passion you got to have that some of us have, and I know for me, it's kind of hard for me to understand someone not having it. You know what I mean? Because I've kind of had it almost my whole life, so I can't. It's harder to relate to things that you don't really feel yourself, right? You try to be open
Oh yeah,
minded, but yeah. I mean,
yeah,
if
definitely.
everybody loved it, there'd be nothing special about it, really.
Yeah, yeah, and I like we have had dogs now, or I have had dogs now for 7 years, and I can't really like I can't look back and think how it was to not have a dog. Like I can't really see myself ever being without a dog. I might not have four hunting dogs, but I will definitely have dogs around me. I think for as long as I can keep them going in the woods.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
So,
was there something else in our conversation you think that stood out? Like,
no, but nothing in particular. But I was just, I guess some of the things y'all did outside of the hunting. I know y'all fixed up some stands and stuff like that, right?
oh
Prepared
yeah,
some
yeah, we
things.
did.
So, yeah, maybe some more on that, like what you did outside of the hunts themselves, because it was two fox hunts.
Yep.
You sent me a video of the second one, which was pretty awesome, where you seen the two pups. That was really cool to hear about, and then actually watch the video. It's like y'all spoke about. I can relate. It's something about just watching those animals where it's where it separates hunting or harvesting from just enjoying nature.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
where we can do both. We're not, again, we're not savages. We have a deep, deep respect for these animals. Um, so I appreciate your brother saying the things he did in that aspect, especially being someone who doesn't hunt that much. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I not to get too sidetracked. Yeah, I was just kind of just maybe the overall of y'all weekend, even though you probably explained most of it.
Yeah, no, but we can dive in. So basically, I joined a new hunting team this season, which is around my house or like my farm. I've hunted with them basically since I moved in here, but I've only been like a guest. So this year I'm a paying member, so to say. So basically, we had a workday where we tried to make sure that, well, there was some forest activity in the area. So some of the shooting stands had fell over with the wind direction and all that. Like when you go from forest to clear cuts, stuff's gonna be a lot more wind exposed. So basically, we had a work day where we met up early in the morning and then we made a game plan. So we fixed the 3 shooting stands that had fell over, changed out some legs and seating benches and changing some roofs on them. And then we just looked over a few more that was bad last season. We picked up 1 shooting stand from my own property and moved it to like this hunting area now. So on my property I had 3 shooting stands, but I basically only used 1. So I felt like I didn't see a reason for me to have 3 stands on my property. So then I offered the team to basically use one of my towers. That's something normally here. Like you will have stands, and then you will on most areas you will be allowed to remove small trees and whatnot. So like you will make some shooting lanes and all that, and you just make sure everything is locked and loaded for the season.
Yeah, Yeah, that's cool, man. Because again, I mean, obviously we have stands, things like that here, but the nature of them are completely different. I know y'all do some similar hunting to us as far as sitting in the stand and just waiting for game to come out, but I know a lot of people here couldn't even really think about sitting in a stand while waiting for someone to drive animals to them. You know what I mean? It's all
Yeah,
it's all just sitting and waiting for them to come to some kind of feed or something like that, which always feels weird to me a little bit, but it's kind of tradition here.
yeah. I think I think both ways. Like we would obviously. So we were sitting in a large tower when we were calling the fox, right? So that tower is basically there to spot and stalk those farm fields. Like what can that be? Maybe 25, 30 acres that you can see all around you from that tower, and then you can sit there, you can spot and stalk, and then if the game is far off, you can walk down from the tower and try to sneak up. So like we have towers like that as well. But I think in America generally you also have those tree stands where you like assembling a tree stand and then you climb up to it and then you take it with you on like public land and all that. But as everything here is private, like we just build wood towers of different size, heights, depending on what the area needs. And the key point for us for having it here is basically safety. So like, and especially for a dog handler, like if you're in the woods with your dogs loose and you know all shooters are maybe 1.5 meters up in the air, their bullet trajectory will be down into the ground a lot faster compared to if they're standing on the ground.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And it's also a good way to keep hunters in the correct area. So like anyone that's been on a stand or waiting for a game, like it's definitely easy for you to move a few yards or a few meters if you see an animal, right? But if you're in a wood tower with a fence around you, like you can't really move. So then it's also a safety feature in like maybe you have two hunters on the same clear cut or in the same field, and then you know that your fellow hunter can't move in an unsafe direction without you noticing it. So
Right.
it's both bullet trajectory safety and then making sure people stay in their designated spot, basically.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's awesome, man. Well, look, I appreciate you and Oscar picking up my slack. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed listening to y'all speak about it. It's always refreshing to hear. Again, I don't want to say new, but
no. Well,
fairly
he is
fair.
definitely he is definitely new. So I'm not sure. I'm 100% sure he doesn't take offense to that. And I'm
Okay.
with you. Like
Yeah.
you could hear his excitement and like
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. No, I mean that's always that emotion. Just kind of it's contagious. So I love the fact that I was able to sit down and listen to it and enjoy it almost as just a listener myself. So again, I appreciate y'all, man. But is there anything else you wanted to add to that, or?
No, I think we covered most of it. So thank you
Yeah.
for listening to this week's episode, guys. Have a good day or good evening or good morning wherever you're listening from. And we will see you again in a week.